Good morning, it's Brian. It is the Art of Startup War. Again, it is another week. It is another phenomenal founder that we have had the privilege of being able to invest in. Today, we are going to talk about you are what you eat on an insane level. And I know this has been an adage which has gone back for years and years and years and years and years, but we suck at it. And so many people get sick, so many people die, so many people do not get to live their life's potential because you just don't get it. And to be honest, even coming back from Ireland, I think a lot of these things came from ignorance and not having access to the resources or the education and really just the folks around who could help guide you in the right direction. I don't think anybody was ever born and they said, I want to eat really terribly until it really affects me badly later in life. And then I want to have a really miserable ending because I didn't take care of myself earlier on. We just moved towards the areas which are easiest for us until there's a scare, right? And somebody says, do you realize you've had 21 spoons of sugar in that bowl of cereal that you've just eaten? And we realize it's really bad. So when we first came across this company, and Genevieve, who's our healthcare expert, said to me, you are going to love this founder. Not only does she have an unbelievable domain expertise in this space, but she's also dealing with an area which is very specifically about each individual needing to curate the way that they eat in a way that's going to help them live their life better. And you can only do that with the knowledge and the education and the expertise to be able to do it. And I thought, this is so truly something that's so required in the world. Now, we had invested previously in a company called SmartPlate. SmartPlate was all about having nutrition on your plate and being able to build small portions into your plate. So over at Expert Dojo, we are highly in tune to this, but we also know that we are fighting a war against focus groups about lobbying groups who would far rather that we eat really badly and that we don't get to where our life is going to take us to. So I just want to, rather than me babbling on, I want to bring Swati into the conversation here. I want to introduce everybody to BetterMeal AI, and I want to really talk about how this incredible company is not only in the process of building a unicorn, but also doing something which is so tremendously important to every human being everywhere. Swati, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Really happy to be here.
And thank you for letting us invest in you.
Yeah, I'm so happy you guys are a part of BetterMeal AI now. Really, really happy about that.
Great company. An amazing journey you've been on. And I remember when we first spoke and you talked about the fact that, at the beginning, some folks said to you, and I don't normally bring up the female founder piece, only if we've had discussions about it before. And you mentioned
Yeah.
at the beginning, some folks had said to you, it's really difficult as a solo founder, and it's even more difficult as a female founder. And you said, actually, that's the thing that was so great because it allowed you to go through a journey and really realize how good you were and how important it was to build this company. Can you maybe, before we talk about the company and the product and all this, can we go right back to the beginning of the hero's journey and talk to us a little bit about what made you decide that this was your calling in life, and also what positioned you in a place where you said, I'm going to go through everything that needs to be gone through from the most difficult of circumstances because this is important?
Sure. So I was having a lot of health issues to start with. I was overweight at some point of time, literally like hundreds of lbs, like too much.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was diagnosed pre-diabetic at the
Oh,
age of 17, like
oh,
17. And are you kidding me? I'm not even like, I've not even lived like, good part of my life and I'm already pre-diabetic. And I could not understand what was happening in my body. And I really want to address the issue. But unfortunately, I did not have any answers for that. Um, Slowly with time, I started doing some dietary changes without
can I
even
just
realizing. Sure.
can I sorry, just to interrupt for a second,
Yeah,
because
sure.
I mean you're tiny, right? In a really nice way. You're not like, when you say to me hundreds of pounds is very large. So
That's right.
how did you? I mean, if thinking just about the journey, and I don't want to get too personal about it, but I think there's a lot of people Number one, the world contrives against us, and most of the large
Yes.
organizations contrive against us as well. It's truly disgusting.
Right.
And we've worked with enough incredible nutritionists, nutrition companies, companies that are dealing with trying to,
Truly.
like, it's so depressing when we look at like the weighing scales. But when you got to that type of weight at the age of 17, was it something that you looked back at and said it was something that I could have avoided, or maybe I think
No.
it would be helpful to other folks as well.
Yeah. So here is like a fact. I'm not a foodie. I just I just eat to live. That's all. So I was not great and crazy about like certain foods. So there was no way I could have like gained that large amount of weight. And you're right, I'm tiny, and this was like really disproportionate. If I think back, it was too much on my body. So, if like to be honest, I think it was my dietary choices. Like when I was pre diabetic, I did not know anything about food. But today, when I look back, food is everything about information for me. Um, I used to do like I used to not have any unhealthy choices, but even the food I eat had a lot of background behind that I did not understand. And I think like many people can relate to me today because you do not know what you're eating, what
Nobody
is
knows.
the background of that food. No one
Yeah,
knows.
yeah,
And yeah, I think that was the main reason, like, that got me to that particular stage when I was obese, more than obese, actually. And I think I was really close to having organ failures as well if I had gained more and more weight. But I started being a little mindful of what I was eating, and I cut down completely on refined sugar, and I think carbohydrates like carbs. So I did lose good amount of weight. I came back to normal, but later I started having all these weird issues which no one has in my family. So if I look back, no one has a celiac disease, no one is lactose intolerant. Like, why did that happen? Like, okay, I lost weight, and now
yeah.
what? I'm having these issues. So it was really like a big question, like what is happening to my body? So I started researching on that, and like everything came down to gut health. So that is what was messed up. So it has been happening to me over the years. It just did not happen like with the weight gain or weight loss. It has been happening to me over the years, and there were like a lot of food options to blame. Back then. But slowly, when I started making those particular changes that suited my gut, I did see like a lot of difference, and I could reverse my celiac disease, which is an autoimmune condition. And it's so difficult to reverse that, like truly.
Incredible.
And I could reverse that. And I could reverse my polycystic ovarian syndrome. I could totally reverse that. And I could reverse my thyroid issues too. So I've reversed everything, and thankfully, like I'm back to normal and I'm back to being healthy. But it's all because like I understood my gut health better. And people like me, I feel really bad for them because they
But by the
don't
way,
know the right food
sorry, Sweta.
choices they can make.
Yeah, people like you is everybody,
Sure.
because our bodies are only saying to us, "Come on, what are you doing to me?" Like the pre-diabetic, and,
Totally.
and again, it's
Yes.
not. I asked you the question before because it's not your fault or anybody's fault. I've been there. Everybody has been there because it's not like the olden days. In
Yes.
the olden days, nobody there was no food which was fabricated to what it needed to taste like for us, but to the end result of the destruction of our body. And our bodies are just crying out, saying, "Please." Understand what's good for me,
Yes.
understand what's bad for me, separate the two, and
Yes.
feed me with what's going to help you grow and become strong. And really, what I'm hearing and
Yes.
everything you're saying here is there was a moment where education became the most important factor of everything. It's not special diets. It's not about exercise. It's not
Yes.
running 30 miles instead
No,
of 2 miles. It's about
nothing.
understanding and listening to your body and saying, I will honor you in the way that you're asking to be taken care of. Nothing more, nothing less.
Totally. Totally. So for me, like, the relationship with food became really important because I was listening to my body really well and I was feeding it what was needed. Even today, I crave like chocolate ice cream and I go ahead and have that because like I'm having it happily and I'm not doing any emotional eating. So, like even there is like a factor of emotional eating as well. So if I'm eating with stress or something, the body dynamics are so different to like, to a level where a person cannot understand. So there is a lot of cortisol that is pumped into my body when I'm doing emotional eating. And that lowers everything from my from my metabolism, from my immune system. Everything is down. And now, like, whenever we are commenting on people, what, this person eats so much, still he does not gain weight or she does not gain weight. How is that possible? It's because they're just being happy. They're in that state of mind where they're like, I'm happy, I'm just eating food to enjoy, that's all. So it is, like it just goes hand in hand for me. So that is exactly it is. And I just started listening to my body better, my gut better. So, that kind of fixed everything.
And when did this go from being a really beautiful relationship that had been formed with your gut, with your body, to being a professional occupation? Because there was obviously, I believe, most of this was realization. It's moments of absolute real. The
Yes.
first moment is, oh my God, what have I been doing all of these years? And then to, oh my God, I've worked it out. I love my body loves me. I feel great in the morning and in the evening. I don't feel
Oh, yeah.
lethargic. Everything is better. I think better. I feel better. I look better. Every part of me, I glow better. Like all of it is there. When did you
Yeah.
then? So that
Yeah.
moment is really obvious. When was the moment where you said, I have to help other people? Because that's obviously the move to the professional side where you said, the world needs to know what I've learned.
Yes, definitely. I think through the process where I was healing my health issues, I just knew right there that I think this is what I want to pursue. This is what I want to do. Because I used to talk to a lot of people who are suffering with similar issues or just PCOS or just celiac disease, just being obese, anything it might be. And they're like, I don't know a solution. What are you talking about? Gut health? Yeah, I tried that. You know what? I take probiotic supplements, still no results. So I think that was the right moment. I knew that, this is like the actual purpose of my life where I can share this information to other people, help them heal the way I heal too, because everyone deserves a good health. And why is everyone deprived of the knowledge which just I know of right now? So I think that is when I decided this is something I want to pursue full time.
Incredible. And what was that journey like from that moment where you said, this is going to be my future, my life, my profession? And I think we're not even at the stage yet where you were going to build an app or do anything around that. But what was that
Nothing.
specific? Did you start to take on individual clients? Did you start to learn more? Like what did it look like as you
Yes,
processized what you learned?
sure. So the first thing I did was I wanted to know the research or the science behind each food I'm consuming. So while I was healing, this one incredible thing I did was I actually enrolled myself into a nutrition course. This
Hmm.
was not to pursue any, like to be a full-time nutritionist or anything like that. My passion was like in the data field. I have been a data scientist and I really wanted to stay in that field. But the love for the data and food kind of came hand in hand, where I started doing a lot of research on food and started blogging about the same and started like maintaining my own database about the food health issues and whatnot, just collecting, just doing some data wrangling around in there. It was fun. um, I think after that, I was in a stage where like I was having a lot of people approach me, actually, through the blog or through word of mouth, that asking me about my journey, about how did I heal, and like how I can be helpful to other people. I think that was like an eye opener, and I started right away. I was actually giving them manual recommendations through emails. And while in the process, I was developing my own algorithm using some neural networks. I actually came up with an own algorithm right now,
Of
which is
course you
incredible,
did,
and that is what is doing.
because you're a
Yeah.
data scientist.
Yes. So I wrote all the, like all the algorithm myself. I actually developed a whole new algorithm. And, this is what is doing the incredible tasks of, like giving the recommendations. But while on the process, I was actually doing manual recommendations to hundreds of people, like literally hundreds of people to start with. It was incredible to see how much, like how much they needed that help. They were desperate, like literally desperate. And I've been in that situation. I've talked to a lot of people. So once I started giving recommendations, I assumed that there would be like some churn. They'd be interested for a few weeks, and that's all. It's going to be like great silence. But all these people have been with me through the process from manual recommendations till my beta app. And all of them have been using this, and they are my beta users, actually. And they've stayed through the process, and they're the ones who told me this is what works, this is what is not right, this is helpful for my body, and this is how I've healed. So it's incredible the way they really needed this, and I was just right, right in there, at the right time.
And you also created your own look as well. You became an influencer in your space. You used what you
Yeah.
knew to actually help other
Yes.
people. You then documented what those other people learned. And then you said, okay, now I've got something really big. I've got something which the
Yes.
world can see. And also, I love your data science background. The answer to everything
Thank
in
you.
everything on the planet is a number. So if you understand data science, you kind of understand the answers to all things in many ways, right? Because as you dig deeper and deeper, it's
Definitely.
always a number at the end of it. So if you can create numbers, and one of the things that really drives me crazy about the world today is everybody's looking for quick fixes for everything. It's like, oh, so
Yeah.
you're a little bit too short, you wear this. If you're a little bit too tall, you do this. If you're a little bit too overweight, then you do. It's like life isn't like that. You can't solve problems
No.
in 5 seconds, not the ones
Yeah.
that are really worth solving. Like if you
Yeah.
want to become brilliant in an area, it takes time to become brilliant in an area. If you want to really deal with a weight issue is only a symptom. It's
Yeah.
not the problem. The problem
Yes.
is you're not treating your body with the love and affection that it needs. And the problem is you only got one of them. It's not like there's a bunch that we can choose
Yes.
from and we
So
can wear a
true.
different one each day. We've got one. We've got one shot at it. And our body is so nice to us that it allows us to abuse it a little bit. It even says, you know what? If you really mess up with me, I'll even get bigger and I'll get larger and I'll bloat and I'll make like funny spots and things and I'll do all these things. And all these things are to tell you, give me a break. Like, really? You think this is fair what you're doing to me and you keep on doing it? But there comes a moment when the elastic band breaks. And when the
That's right.
elastic band breaks, you cannot put it back together again. So, what you've done and what you've combined, whether by intent or whether it be by taking some of life's designs and then using that to create something beautiful, is actually a beautiful mix. That data scientist and the nutritionist side of you, and having both of those together and the experiences of what you went through, actually perfectly positioned you to be able to come out and build what you've built. So, talk to me about how you went from being in a place where of self-care and self-love and being able to fix yourself to then going to a place of being able to help and share that to other people, and now going to a place where you're actually building a platform which has a specific purpose to be able to use the algorithm that you've built so that consumers everywhere can take care of
Yeah.
themselves.
Sure, Brian. So, like you said, for me, data and some analysis and proof is everything. So, even before, like, I started talking to a lot of my customers, my users, I was actually talking to a lot of doctors, nutritionists, and gut scientists. I think like I've already spoke to 50s and hundreds of them combined and tried to understand the science behind everything so that I can connect those dots rightly. So like during the process, I realized that having the proof means doing some clinical trials on patients suffering from specific health issues like mine. I have my own story, but what if I can document that clinically? What if I can see those results in other people? Right? That's going to be great. So that is when we started to take like a clinical path, and we found this incredible hospital in India, which was really helpful for us. Like, they're lifeline hospitals, and they were the ones, like, whom we partner with. And we had some clinicians on the team who actually helped us validate the algorithm, as I was building it, curating the data, everything together. So on the side, I was doing some clinical analysis for particular health issues like diabetes, thyroid issues like hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, Hashimoto's syndrome, and PCOS and PCOD, and celiac diseases and irritable bowel syndrome. So we started with these 5 health issues.
Mm-hmm.
We had around 500,000 patients to start our clinical trials with, and
Wow.
these were the actual number of patients we started the clinical trials with. Yeah. And it's like the use cases or the case studies were really amazing, because some of them had some combined issues like mine. I had PCOS and celiac diseases and thyroid issues all together. So some of them, like some of the use cases were just similar like mine. Some of them were just really unique, where they just had this one issue, like, okay, diabetes, I really want to reverse that. So these kind of case studies were really helpful for us, and we were actually providing them the nutrition on a daily basis to understand and to see their gut health, and to validate our food-based cure. So we did the analysis for 3 months, 6 months, and now 12 months and 18 months. So we have like checked their particular biomarkers, what I would say the gut based biomarkers,
Mm-hmm.
and we have compared that to 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months. And there has been consistent decrease in the hormones and the glucose excursions. They've just been decreasing, and they've just stayed consistent throughout the time. So that validated our study, and that really validated our algorithm. And now our second beta release, our beta users are actually using that, and we have already had like 80% success rate in our second beta release, where at least 40% of certain health issues people could actually reverse it, and they've not got back the symptoms at all.
Incredible. Incredible.
So yeah.
Incredible. And where did that lead you to? As the results came out, because I love how you said, I've said the answer to every question is a sum, is math, and then data science is the
Yeah.
solution to be able to. But then you quickly added on top of it, and proof. Right? So it's not
Yes.
enough for it to be the logical conclusion that a 1 plus
Yeah.
2 equals 3. It's that you need to see proof as a scientist that actually that is the case, and that you don't have some kind of bias towards that addition. So as you looked at the clinical studies and you came out the other side and
Yes.
you said, okay, I've
Mhm.
seen this, what conclusion did it lead you to?
So we have had enough research through our clinical trials that shows that, your gut controls everything in your body, like literally your mood, your weight, your food choices, and even certain inflammation in the body. It's decided by your gut health. And through our trials, we've found that fixing the gut through right food choices, not supplements, just right food choices would reverse all the health conditions, that people are tackling. So, and this is also like, we have also learned through our research, everyone knows that 90% of the serotonin is produced in the gut. But did you know, like 85% of the immune system is also in the gut?
Hmm.
So pretty much we know why we are having all these issues. So once we started like doing these kind of trials, we kind of knew our answer where we are going to. And even through the trials, like I was saying, certain people, like 100,000 people were actually following supplement based diet, while 200,000 people were focused on the food based cure. So these 100,000 people, they were on probiotic supplements, and we really wanted to test the gut bacteria and see what's changed. So, to our astonishment, probiotic supplements are very tricky, and 84% of these 100,000 people, patients, had increased histamine levels in their system, and,
Amazing.
it caused more of a trouble, than good to your gut. So, we know our answer. So, supplements are, as their name suggests, it's just supplements. It's not what our body needs, actually. Everything can actually be controlled in the food, and even the cure is right there. So once we knew that, you know, the app was almost like on the way, and we had our beta customers actually use it. So yeah.
Great. So you built the app. The app is coming out. You have
Yes.
users on the app. We also have testers on the app as well. And you have a huge waiting list on the app as
Yeah.
well for more folks that are looking to come in. Talk to me a little bit about 2022.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how much money that you're going to raise right now. Also, how much you've raised so far to build the app. Obviously, we've invested money into you, but also any other people that
Yeah.
are there on the journey with you as well. And I just want to give, because I think everybody realizes what's being built and how tremendously important this is to the consumers that are going to use it. I think also people realize this is not an app that you have for 5 or 10 minutes. This is an app that
Yeah.
you'll have for the rest of your life, because it's really
Yes.
training you, teaching you, educating you, and moderating all of the your own body and helping you build that relationship with yourself, which is great. But talk to us a little bit about the numbers and how they'll
Sure.
grow during 2022.
Sure. So as of now, we have raised 160,000 K, including Expert Dojo.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we are aiming to raise 2 million in our seed round, and we have certain marketing initiatives lined so that we can have more and more users benefit from the application. As of now, we already have more than 50,000 users on our wait list, and it's growing. It's growing organically. You would be surprised. I am not spending a penny on marketing. Actually, it's all organic marketing, and it's capturing the audiences somehow. And we know the answer right there, that this is something what people need. They need to heal, and they deserve it. So we know the answer right there. So yeah, we will be raising 2 million in our seed round, and we have our initiatives planned, and we are planning on acquiring all these 50,000 people, and we will be launching soon. We'll be launching soon, like in the spring, and we're really excited for that. Yeah.
Wonderful. And then, so when you raise the $2 million, what do you expect that that's going to do for the users and also for the app for the rest of 2022? And then, because I think what most investors are looking at is how will the user growth build so we can get to a Series A, and when do we think that might happen?
Sure. So we are actually working on a B2B to C kind of a model. As of now, we will be releasing it as a B2C app, but we will be pivoting to a B2B to C model, and that is the plan for this year. So that is how we are going to have our user acquisition, and some of the plans, how we would be acquiring the users is through more and more of marketing today, it might be social media marketing, or the blog based marketing, or podcast based marketing. We are going to be focusing on that more, and of course we would need more and more developers to add in certain features that might be really beneficial for the users. As of now, the application is really valuable from day one, but we have so much planned that we need more and more developers on the team to build that. And also one more important thing we are focusing on this year is actually releasing doing more and more clinical trials. I think that is really important. So we are in the second phase of our trial, and we are planning to do our third phase of our trial, and there is a lot happening in the third phase of our trial, so we would be focusing on that as well. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
And then how does the data science, I just want to, I want people to really walk away understanding the role of this data science and how important it is in the app itself. So talk to us a little bit more about the secret sauce that makes this and that not only just builds a barrier from other people being able to build this an app like this themselves, but also just really empowers your users to do things they couldn't have done before.
Sure. So the data science algorithm, some quick bits about it is it provides you your own personalized food scores. So what I mean by food scores is, you might be having, you might react to a particular food in a different way than I might react. So we provide that particular aspect in our algorithm. So if you're not, if you're bored with our meal plans, you can actually build your own meal plan using these. You can make mindful food choices, using the personalized scores. I think that is like one of our most important aspect of the algorithm, and that is what our beta users have been using a lot, like crazily. They build their own meal plans, and that's giving us an insight about their gut health more and more. And second thing is, I think we are completely biomarkers based. We do not use any kind of gut test kits. People have done all sorts of things like gut therapies, gut test kits, gut based, probiotics, but we are just focused on food based cure, looking at some of their important biomarkers. And these biomarkers are basically from their annual blood tests, which includes the complete blood count blood tests. It's like underneath their nose. That's all. That is what is, you know, will be accessing. And, like looking at certain biomarkers from the complete blood count blood test, we'll be able to provide them an insight into their gut health and inflammation as well. Where exactly is the inflammation happening and what are the right steps to take?
And that's what makes this so awesome. It like brings everything in your life in one huge full circle, right? So that it all
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense. Everything from like, why was the data in science so important to me? Because it's really the secret sauce that provides the solution to folks who
right.
find it very difficult to work it out for themselves. Okay, I'd like if we could finish with two things,
Yes.
please. The first thing is just let everybody have your email
Mhm.
so people can contact you, and I'll do the same. But then the second on top of that is for all investors who are listening, everybody is going to have realized a few things. Number one, they're going to realize this is a great app that the world needs. They're going to have realized that your personal journey is directly tied into the fact that you will never give this up. You can just tell with founders, like the depth
Yes.
of their
Yeah.
personal feelings for something is directly proportionate to the fact they'll just never leave ever, right? Yes. So that to me is like so powerful from an investor's perspective. Just realizing that is huge. And the other thing that people will realize is like just the waiting list of 50,000, having the traction that
Yeah.
you have, having the validation clinically that you have in place, having raised a little bit of money and being able to do the incredible amount of things that you've done. All of these
Yeah.
will give them such incredible peace and calm with investing money into them. I just want to layer on at the very end how you are going to build that unicorn, like to create a little bit more belief that you can take this all the way to being something superhuman that will go beyond the 50,000 or the 100,000 people that you can get to. And leave you with the last minute or so on the floor to finish up there. But let's start off with your email first, if you can, and then just finish up with just this. This is where we're going, investors. Join me.
Sure. So my email is Swati, that is SWATHI dot Arna, that is ARNA at BetterMeal.ai. And we will be a unicorn because the world needs food-based cure. We have forgotten our old ways of eating and what kept us healthy. We really have lost the connection from our gut to our mind, to be honest, to be really honest. So we are here to make that connection, and we are here to help you trust your gut. And we trust our gut that we are going to be the next unicorn. We are going to be your AI nutritionists. You're basically your virtual nutritionists, and everyone can have access to their own personal nutritionist, and not thinking too much. So yeah.
I love it. 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 For anybody out there that would like to connect with me, and like you would need to understand why we invested in this company, but if you would like to talk about it, it's Brian at expertdojo.com as always. And it is just a pleasure to have invested in you, a pleasure to have you on your show. And I'm looking forward to everything that comes.
Same here, Brian. I'm so happy to be on this show. I'm so happy to be a part of Expert Dojo. I'm really looking forward.
You're the best. And that's a wrap.